sharing restaurant among all universities. And they are also part of our partners. They will be hosting a booth nearby, actually across the green lawn downstairs, and they will provide some food. It's not totally free, but I think you can enjoy those, especially lunch on Saturday and also tomorrow if you come back for the village. The village will start tomorrow at 12 noon and also on Saturday. And part 2 of this session, Ploughing our soil potential for changes. Before we move on to the part hosted by Ada and Janet, our student moderator, let's set our mind to Seoul, Saoyi, because we're going to invite a group of students who have been experiencing some fascinating social enterprises arranged by Ada and the team. And let's invite the student group, a round of applause. Okay, they will explore and share what they have been learning about Seoul as an innovative city. We have Crystal Girl and also Stella from the same group of Pika, my partner earlier on. Okay, a round of applause again. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Crystal Girl and this is Stella. We were recently in Seoul, and today we're going to talk to you about how Seoul is a very innovative city. So, Seoul is innovative because they promote ideas, and not only do they expect ideas from the citizens, they also work to expand and develop these ideas. For example, they promote bottom-up societal improvement, and the agents of change come from within the community itself. So, Seoul has this promotion whereby they empower their citizens, and one of the ways in which they do this is through alternative education. This provides a viable option for students whose learning patterns don't necessarily fit with the norms of mainstream schools, or who want to extend their educational experience beyond rote learning. One of these schools is called Haja Center, and at this center they also learn important life lessons such as self-reliance and creating their own sustainable environment. Furthermore, students are not left in the lurch when they're done with alternative education. Sometimes it's not always easy to find a job. If you come from a school that isn't a government school or a mainstream school where you learn things like maths and English. However, where we were looking at Haja Center earlier, they many social enterprises that provide jobs for graduates have started from Haja Center itself. For example, Noridan is a social enterprise whose tagline is "Anyone can make music," and they create instruments out of industrial leftovers, and or Cat on a Picnic, an ecologically conscious catering enterprise. The spirit of sharing is also very prominent in Seoul. They have a community there called Songmisan Village, whereby the community itself comes together to fill each other's needs. By doing so, they share their time, their resources, ideas, and skills to reduce wastage and excess consumption. They also rely on each other to solve everyday difficulties. Some examples of what they do as a community: they share communal spaces such as kitchens and kitchen tools, and they also have a daycare there whereby the parents themselves take it in turns to watch the kids.
Thank you, Crystal. All right. So I have a question to everyone. Wait. Why is trouble? No trouble. Okay, still a bit pressing. All right. So I have a question to everyone. So if you have appeals, you resort to the government, will you go to your headquarters and then to ask, hey, I want this one, and there are so many social problems in Hong Kong, and then I have an idea. In what way? How will you address the problem? Will you ask for the government to help you to do something like that? But of course, in Hong Kong, we have 10 headquarters, but people, they won't go to resort help from the government. But when we look at the cases in Seoul, and they have the City Hall, so what comes to your mind for City Hall is not just like Dai Wei Tong, just like in Hong Kong. It's a government building. It's not just for the cultural activities. It's a government building, and people have high accessibility. If you want to go, you can just get in. And just like they have their speaker stage, and so if you're citizens, if you have an appeal, you can just go to their go on the stage and deliver your speech, and then the government may listen to it. And then they also have their for their Hope Institutes. This is a think tank, and then the people, they can initiate some good idea, and then their institute will help them to deliver their ideas. And then it's a think tank. What will come to your mind for think tank in Hong Kong would be like Civic Exchange, Synergy Net. But will you also give them, if you have some good idea, will you also go for them and give some your idea and make it happen? And one more point is the Hope Institute is initiated by the Seoul Mayor, but of course after it becomes a Seoul Mayor, it's an independent institute instead of by the government one. So Hope Institute is a good incubator for the ideas. And then the next one will be the public space. What comes to mind for the public space in Hong Kong? Will you go to the countryside and then to appreciate the environment? No. And as for the public space in Seoul, they have a huge. Not huge, it's a great grassland just outside the City Hall, and as people can have easy access to this public space to enjoy themselves, and these are places to create ideas as well. And then I want to be very sustainable. Just like we visit the Nordam, they use the industrial waste and to do the performance, which is they are very energetic, and people will be enjoy it very much. And then we can also see how they make use of the upcycling by using the waste wood and then to turn it into a chair, just like we can see here. We can also got this one. That from there we can see it everywhere, not just from certain places, but it's everywhere. So from which we can see that Seoul is a city with so many energy, and this is we can see how we can put it in Hong Kong, and people just as much by using small change can make a great difference, just like by using the chair, and then how to make use of it, just make it happen, just do it. Yeah. That's the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stella and Castigo. And we have 5 more groups of students, not tonight, but we were spreading around this upcoming, the rest of the seminars. And now let's move on to Dialogue 2. We will be investigating or exploring the international overseas cases. Let's have our guest also part of our collaborator. Okay, Ms. Ada Wong, and also our guest student moderator, also from part of the Seoul trip, Jenna. Okay.
Thank you, Chi-chung. We will be quick, but we have really great and exciting speakers as well. Why don't we sit down, Janet? Janet, we were also in Seoul.
Yes.
Last week. What was your impression?
Seoul, there are 2 sentences keep striking my heart. One is what you just saw, I do what I can do. It's actually from a story told by a Paja Center student. It's a story about a hummingbird, a little small bird, trying to save a forest fire with the water from his beak. And he just said, the storyteller said, I do what I can do. Even it is very small movement, I do it, and I hope I can make a difference. And another one is when we were reflecting on the last night at the end of the trip. And we talked about what is the thing that you, I said that if it's not us, then who will do it? After, at the end of the trip, and it keeps striking me that if it's not us who went to so many places, then who will make a difference?
Yeah, great. I do what I can do. I think this is the changemaker spirit. And this is why, we're at this ConFest. What do changemakers do? They don't just dream, but they take action. Just now, Sao Ping, the director of Hong Pai, he said, I don't want to give encouragement, just do it. Just do it. In the next session, in this coming session, we have got speakers who have seen it, who have done it. Their action might not be terribly big, but they are doing what they want to do, and I think they are making a big difference. So this is about action. This session is about action, and this session is also about cases around the world. They do what they can do. Okay, so Janet, why don't you introduce our first speaker?
Yes, we have the Dennis Design Center group there. Let's have a big applause for them.
They came all the way from Denmark. This is really cold now. It's about to snow, and they're enjoying Hong Kong very warm weather here.
It's a summer. So we will have Ulla and Sophie from their group. It's a pop-up design unit by the Bureau de Tours in Denmark. Ulla, Sophie, come upstairs.
Welcome. Welcome. Jump on stage. Huh?
Okay, I can go outside.
Yeah,
Come on.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. We are very happy and very honored to be here. It's a really big experience for us too. It's our first time out of Europe doing business and culture and what we love to do. So we are really happy about this. We will tell you a little bit about what we do and why we love working in public space. We are a group called Bureau de Tours, and we are a big network, you can say. We are kind of a very unusual company, network-based, and we are a lot of different craftsmen, musicians, designers, architects, programmers, and so on. And we can do anything because we are this group of so many different things. So when we work on different projects, we put teams together like that.
Yeah, here you can see like a photo of the group. It's actually a little bit old, but as you can see, it's a colored mix of people, and like the mix of all these fields makes it a really nice synergy when you work, and that makes it possible to create the project we do. And what we do is like mainly working in the public space, and you can experience it in Hill Road, where we're building at the point and having a workshop. And the reason why we work in public space is because when we started the group was we didn't have enough space. So yeah, we tried to work different places, and we experienced that the urban space had enough space for us to create bigger projects. So yeah, that's the main reason for us working in the public space.
Yeah, we over the years have gained a lot of knowledge by facing the public space every day. We usually have this way of saying one-to-one in scale when we do things. We don't sit at home, draw 3D renderings about our dream. We go out and test it immediately. And the third one is the location. because we tested in a certain place, like now we're testing new designs in Hill Road, which is a very steep place below a flyover, so it's very unusual to us to be in such a space. But these three ones gives us so much for free, because we get so much feedback, both from the space itself, from the visitors that comes by, and from the design that we can do out of this. This is a really broad mix of what we're doing now in Detours. We have grown from being really focused on street life and street parties to also do more thought-through projects like interior design for shops or exhibitions, or what can we say? We teach, for example, in Denmark, eighth graders in public school about their ownership in public space. And that's actually from the very city where you get your cookies for your New Year. So that's kind of fun. That's just to really like to just tell you a little bit about all the things that we do apart from the Danish Design Center. But there's no time. But visit our website if you want to learn more about that. Yes. But you can say that in one way, even if we're doing a very polished, very nice interior for a shop of fashion, we always try to make a nice story about it. We want to turn around how the world normally works and going more bottom up instead of top down. That's our core inspiration throughout all our projects.
Yeah, here you can see one a project we did last year at the Milan Design Fair, and we created this Danish Design Center not for this occasion, but we got a grant from the Danish government, and we used it for going to this fair. And we were mainly focusing on the design at the fair because there's a bit trouble when you go to this fair, because they have to focus on putting design on display. And we would like to kind of change the view on design and look at it in a different way. So we created this design service station, as you can see in the picture. And we gave away furniture for people so they could use it for sit down and not only looking at them. So we created a use of the furniture we made at the fair in the urban space, and created a discussion about design. And as you can see here, it was like furniture which were like built on the location for specific needs. Like one of course seating, but also to have fun in the space. When you were like walking around for like looking at the furniture, you could like use a swing or like sit down and have a talk. And yeah, it's like really fun to start a discussion about how you could use furniture in the urban space instead of only like looking at them.
So you can say from there's a picture here, two pictures from Hong Kong on the screen. The core essence of our Danish Design Center is that it's a research station for us. It's our playground for new discoveries. The main thing we need when we work in public space is a small shed to put up and put inside our stuff and a lock. And in this sense, it's kind of similar to some of the things that we are most inspired by in our visit to Hong Kong. These small green stalls you have everywhere with amazing street life around it, where you come and sit and eat every lunch and every dinner. This is what we dream of in Europe to have. And we hear that they are being closed down slowly by the generations, and it's a lot of hard work to have a shop like this as your work. But we hope that you can maybe see that this is really a part of your local identity, and maybe try to think about a new way of keeping these stalls. Maybe do them as research stations when you need to make a new project, or set up a new business. Start small, start in street level, and get instant feedback from all the people that is going to be your new customers.
Yeah, it's also like really sad if you see these shops are closing, because it's another way to like meet local people. And there's some traditions which will die if these shops close down. So like maybe think of another use of these shops and create like a new way of using them.
Yeah. So public space and temporary projects. Why do we want to make them, and why do we believe they're so important? We have a lot of participants working together with us right now at the road, and they are so eager to get their hands dirty and learn from us how to build. It's amazing to watch that just within, I think the first day they only had 3 hours of practice, and we couldn't stop them at the end. They just kept working, and that's just universal, I think. When you finally get to do something practical, it's really relieving, and it's amazing to see something grow out of your own hands. What you get of working temporarily like this is also, it's short from, from testing something to getting a feedback from all the everyday people passing by your project. We get so many smiles every day, and people are coming now every day to have their lunch in our extra furniture because they are more comfy than the stones that were there before and are still there. So it's a really nice surprise, I think, to the participants and the people in the local neighborhood.
The temporariness also kind of move away the fear of doing something, because it's only temporary. So like as long as it's temporary, it doesn't have to be there forever. So it's okay if you build the furniture which isn't like perfect. You can test and try things out and have more fun in a temporary project. So that's also one of the really good thing about temporariness. Yeah, we are making a street party Saturday, and you should really come by. But like a street party, you could ask yourself why. Because it's like we're not creating a street party just to have a party. We are creating it because like the building of like the whole creating thing about creating a party is like involving people and make them put their hands on. Like create things one-to-one, and you kind of educate creative entrepreneurs during the process of the workshop we do right now, because there's so many things to do and prepare for a party. You have to build furniture, you have to talk to the neighbors, you have to invite people. You need some music and figure out how the local neighborhood is like working, and what to make up to make people come. And like the other thing is also that the people who are attending the workshop and are helping us to create the street party like change the mindset about the town, about the city. And you have to be like you make them aware of how the city works and how the area works, and like help them to create some sustainable culture. So yeah, you should come by at Saturday.
Thank you very much. Okay, this is from Dennis. And for those of you who have not been to the site, just walk down from here. It's 5 minutes from here. It's very steep, sort of leisure rest area. owned by the Hong Kong government, we had to do a lot to get the sort of license so that they can do a workshop there. And it is so interesting, this public space intervention, that the Gai Fong and the old ladies walking by, they were actually very curious of what you're doing. All these tall and thin Danish people, When I first talked to the district councillor, and I said, 5個好高好大嘅丹麥人，哇，丹麥人，they are really in awe. And it is so interesting to see that they struck such a great cordial relationship with the Gai Fong, and the whole thing is called Hands Up. And there was a photograph, one of the Gai Fong, they looked out of the window and they were doing this, because that was the icon of the Hands Up. So it is a very interesting public space intervention. In Hong Kong, we can do nothing in public spaces, okay? But that's right. In our parks, we cannot sing, we cannot dance, we cannot do soccer, we cannot do skateboard. But here we are, we are able to make furniture right out in the open. And this is great stuff. This is great furniture. And the 50 young people who were participating in the workshop really had a great time. So go there on Saturday. But Dennis will also be here on campus tomorrow, just right downstairs. And for those of you who are makers, who are natural makers, just go there and try out to build something yourself. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's Dennis' turn to introduce our next speaker.
Yeah, next we have Mr. Chai Ziwen from Ransom Foundation. 柴先生，柴子文先生是资深媒体人，曾任南方周末、亚洲周刊编辑记者，现在是文艺复兴基金会秘书长。柴先生有请。
各位晚上好，我可以讲国语啊，因为这是一个全球性的一个个案。那我首先讲几句，就是为什么是我介绍一下文艺复兴基金会。那我们这个很简单来讲，就是宗旨是叫文艺独立自由复兴。那跟刚才的这个Dennis Design Center 有点类似的是，我们也是希望用文艺去复兴每天的日常的生活。所以呢，我们就是做一些这样的一些推广独立文艺，包括独立音乐、独立电影、文字创作，甚至文化政策的研究的一些活动。那我们刚刚在7月份做了一个创作夏令营，那收了有80个学生，然后都6天5夜的这个在一个山里面，也是跟志忠他们合作的一个项目。那就是大家都玩得很开心，然后也真的有一些项目催生出来，但是我刚待会儿我要讲的这个题目有点关联的是说，有一个来自于中国内地的一个学员，他报了名，但是他最后却不能够过境，因为他以前做过的一些事，是一个很年轻的人，那但是他不能他报名了入围了，但是他不能来参加我们这个夏令营。但是很巧的是，就是我们这个夏令营结束之后，就有一个创作的资助计划。那这个资助计划，我们就会从这个80个营员里面挑选一些创作计划书，然后我们最后会选出4到5个这样的项目去资助他，然后有导师的指导，1年的时间去指导。那其中一个现在我们已经初步决定的一个项目，就是也是跟这个缺席的一个这位年轻的中国大陆的人有关的。就我待会儿介绍的案例，就是中国乌坎的一个故事。那因为时间也很快，时间很短，我就必须很快的去讲。就我想讲的这个乌坎的故事呢，其中的几个关键词是空间、人，还有公民社会。那乌坎事件就是应该是2011年的时候，是在跟阿拉伯之春同一年发生的一个在中国的一个小渔村发生的一场小小的但是震撼力非常大的一次也是可以说是乌坎之春吧，乌坎之秋是秋天发生的，但是造成的影响是非常大。那我觉得整个这一个基本上是大家看中国好像是一个铁板一块，但是这个小渔村发生的故事让我们就觉得其实是人是可以改变很多东西的。那人在改变的过程里面需要有很多的创意。那 这个村子就很简单来讲，它是一个非常偏远的，在广东南部一个真的是经济很不发达的一个渔村。那村民呢，它有7个自然村，然后村民有1.3万人，但是这1.3万人里面呢，有8000多人全部在外地打工，所以年轻人全部不在那个村子里面。好，那这个村子的这个村长，也就是这个最有权力的这个人呢，他在这个村长的位置上已经做了41年，你看跟那个埃及何其像。然后大部分年轻人都不在村子里面，都在外面打工啊。然后这个村子甚至有一个他自己的治安队，有30个人的治安队啊。然后你就看到就是说，这里面的人是这样的一个构成，然后年轻人都不在了。然后我要讲的空间就因为土地的纠纷，土地也是空间的一个部分，因为它是一个农村，所以它村民的主要的一个生活来源都是在耕作，然后用土地。结果这个村庄的独裁者，这个做了41年村长的这个人就瞒着村民把这个土地卖了。并且那个乌坎是一个渔村，所以它其实是有一个港口的。这个港口呢是他们村子专有的，很多走私的物品也都是通过这个港口。那这个港口的这个占有权也是由这个村长所控制的。所以你可以想象，这个是一个把它想象成一个政治结构的话，它是一个就是权力结构非常固化，并且是一个把所有的空间都把它变成是个人的一个地方。那土地被卖走以后，村里的人就开始起来反抗，但是这个反抗是非常困难的，一直就做了好多年的上访，然后在中国大陆的政治结构里面或者法律体系里面是很难，而且类似的事情呢，就是在中国基本上这个10年以来，就是各大大小小全国各地的村子里面都在发生同样的故事。但是基本上都是以悲剧收场，或者说以失败告终。但是这个乌坎村子最后却成功了啊！那这个成功其实我觉得是非常值得去研究的。那也就是为什么我们后来会选乌坎作为一个我们资助的一个纪录片的一个对象，因为大家新闻很快过掉了，但是实际上很多里面的东西可以总结。那我今天想分享就是说，空间、人和公民社会之间的关系。刚才我讲了人的部分，就是说这个村子的年轻人全部在外地打工，那他们因为这个要去争取夺回被这个独裁者卖掉的土地，那么他们纷纷就回到了这个村子里面来。那这个空间里面，我觉得为什么乌坎能够不同于中国其他的村子，或者他能够最后取得成功，并且就是在乌坎这个村子里面造成了一个普选，重新1人1票投出，重新选举这个村长的这样一个结果，并且得到了中国官方的最后的承认。那这个里面很神奇的很重要的几个元素，我觉得是跟空间很有关系。第一个空间就是说，我想讲的是一个大的公共空间。因为我们我之前在做媒体的时候也是去过那个地方，是很有趣的一个大的公共空间。这个是跟这个乌坎的这个地方它的很强的宗族势力有关系。他们每一个刚才说到有7个自然村，那是一个大的村子，有7个自然村，每一个自然村里面一定会有一个神庙，然后跟这个神庙相对应的，大概中间隔开50米。就会有一个戏台，那么他们这个在神庙和戏台之间就形成一个公共的空间。这个公共空间基本上是一个后面整个在09年一直到去年2012年他们成功去土地维权的时候，很多重要的包括就是传递信息，包括人群的聚集，包括去形成一些公共的决议，都是在这个空间里发生的。那这是大的公共空间。这种传统的结构在中国的大部分地区都已经被破坏掉了，但是很幸运的是，因为它乌坎很偏远，所以它保留下来了。那还有一个就是，这是一个大的公共空间，是指就是这个由传统的戏庙 有传统的神庙和戏台，因为戏台是他们会表演传统广东的汕尾那边的一个唱大戏，每年的一个重要的活动那么我后来也去到的时候采访他们去一人一票普选村长的时候，重要的活动包括那个选出来的那个选委会去开会，都是在那个戏台上面发生的。我觉得那个我在场的时候看他们非常热烈的去讨论的时候，我真的联想到了这个英国的国会里面的那种场景，非常感人。那这是一个大的公共空间，是其他地方可能是没有或者被破坏的。另外一个小的公共空间就是在广东呢有喝功夫茶的这个时间，有喝功夫茶的这个传统，所以他们每家每户其实在那个村子里面是门不闭户的，门是打开的。所以呢，就是每一家的小的客厅，基本上在整个维权过程里面都变成了一个小的公共空间，所有的信息都是敞开的。那这个也是一个很特别的一个地方。但是我最想讲的还是第三个空间，叫做虚拟空间。那这个虚拟空间就是跟刚才我讲的这个人有关系，就是很多就是有这个村子大部分年轻人都在外面打工那么他们其实知道这个事情很想来参与，但是他们其实是没有办法，因为他们在外面打工。但是通过这个虚拟空间，他们包括 QQ 的组群，包括微博的账户包括他们用很多网络的拍成那个把一些材料拍成 video 之后传到那个网络空间去传播，这个给了他们一个非常重要的一个动员的空间。后来就整个事情是非常的复杂，但是这个虚拟空间在整个过程里面起到的作用是非常大的。那所以这三大空间，我觉得是令到这个小村子能够最后能够有一个重新选举村长，并且呢让每一个人有投票的权利，这个事情是这三个空间是很重要的。那我觉得这是在其中的人的作用是怎么去用这个空间，这些人他们的作用是非常重要。我这个里面我就觉得我包括那个没有能够来到夏令营参加这个没有能够来参加夏令营这个年轻人，这个乌坎的少年是一个90后，那么他自己是确实一直在这个运动里面是担任一个很重要的一个角色。他是一个在最火热的时候，他是一个媒体的接待，就是媒体指挥中心的一个重要的一员，也是那个被新选出来那个村长的一个保镖那么他其实是很有趣的一个人。那么我就发现，就是他们其实这些年轻人已经是基本上到了一个绝望的地步，但是最后他们发现，其实把这些无论是大的公共空间，原来由传统的这个神庙和戏台构成的大的公共空间，还是就是每家每户这样的串联的小客厅造成的小公共空间。更重要的是说，怎么去把这个网络的虚拟空间去用一个有创意的方法去使用起来。这个过程，他们就是做了很多的创新的尝试，比如说怎么样能够让在网络上传播的这些关于这个乌坎村的事件能够不被屏蔽掉。那么这个本身就是一个很有技巧的事情，就是说你不能够用很多很直接对抗的词，必须要用一些有技巧的一些方法去在网络上传播，然后在微博上能够让更多的体制内的人、一些学者、一些更重要的是一些传统媒体的人，然后对于海外的一些传统媒体的人，能够把这个消息传播出去。所以最后乌坎这个事件能够给官方造成很大的压力，是跟这个由虚拟空间造成的媒体压力、国际压力很有关系的。那最后很多国际媒体进驻到那个乌坎村子里面，并且乌坎的这个冲突官民冲突急剧的升级之后，官方就不得不让步。我觉得并不是某一个领导人特别的开明，而是在那一年的那一个重要的时点上面，已经就是官方已经退无可退，必须得让步。那这个过程，我觉得是非常有趣，而且也非常复杂的一个过程。所以我就觉得，如果是要去简单总结的话呢，就是这个怎么去善用空间，无论是实体的空间还是虚拟的空间，还有怎么去把人发挥自己的这个主动的一个作用，然后来造成一个公民社会的运动。我觉得这个案例就给我很多的启发。那因为时间关系，我就分享这么多，谢谢。
Siwen gave us a really the most amazing example of bottom-up and people-led democracy in the village of Wukan. And I'm sure some of you have followed that story. And according to Siwen, space is actually a catalyst. So you can see how important space is. Now, we went from Copenhagen to Wukan village, and now we are going to Taidong. And so we are seeing cases from 3 different areas in this session. So Janet, why don't you introduce our third speaker?
Yes, we have Ms. Cindy Ha from the Faculty of Law. Cindy, hi. She's the representative of Taidong Study Trip. She and her team won the competition in Green Entrepreneurship Education Program and went to Taidong, visited a lot of enterprises.
Thank you. Hi everybody, I'm really honored to be here, and can I just say how inspired I am by the speeches given by our Danish counterparts and Mr. Tai. Actually, I didn't, the HKU students didn't actually win the contest. The secondary school students, they did. And then we just accompanied them. But anyways, we all together, all 22 of us, we had a really good time in Taiwan for 4 days. What we did is we went to a bunch of small-scale workshops or different villages, and we got to know a lot more about the indigenous people's culture. And so I'm here today really is to share with you the 3 key points about changes that we have learned and that we think is most important. Again, we're not the change makers yet, and we've only witnessed, so this is just a little summary of ours. The first thing we think that's most important change is to reflect on what is the relationship between man, society, and environment. Because before you change, really, you have to think about where you are right now and what you want in the future. So let me guide you through a couple examples we've come across in our trip. So one of the indigenous tribe in Taiwan is called Lawaran, and their culture has been slowly disappearing as the young people move towards the cities for better living. And but what they did recently is that they picked up the traditional millet planting culture, and they started the schools for hunting. And all this is because they've realized that this is a cultural identity that they want back, and they cannot afford to lose. Another example you can see from the pictures down there is, this is one of the hostel minzu that we've lived in, and you can't tell from how pretty it is right now, but it was an old factory building from an old brick kiln. And so they make bricks with clay there before. But when the owner came, they didn't tear down the building entirely and build something new. Instead, they make something interesting, inspiring, with caves of bats and everything, and even profit making. So I think this is because everybody really, in Taiwan, one of the inspiration we got is that, is it really necessary to always take down the old to build something new? Or is it sometimes about bringing back what is desirable tradition? And maybe that can be one of the aspects of changes. And speaking of history, another indigenous tribe people, the Bunan people, they have a museum of forests that we visited. There's no electricity at all in the old dozens of decades of acres of land. They don't have any electricity till today, but instead they have one canopy of tree formed by just one banyan tree that has lived for uncountable years. We call them the walking tree because there's 200 branches of the root that has grown into the soil and formed new trunks. So for these people, the dynamic with this nature now is what they would want to maintain instead of development. So I think these are the few examples that has brought us to reflect upon the relation with the world. Okay, I'm going to move faster. And after you think about what you want in your future life, and you really need to put into effort to make a change so that these things can come true, right? And we have some very inspiring examples from Taiwan as well. So we visited this village called Wan'an Village. And there's a nearby Golden Harvest Pavilion, and there they plant and process the best rice in Taiwan. But when we were there, one of the farmers lead us around, and his expert knowledge in planting rice can inspire you so much. And you will be amazed that everybody in this village plant rice with such perfect details. And not just the devotion of these people that brings success to the village, but also the Taiwanese government did a lot on behind, because what they did is they heavily subsidized this entire area where it's good for planting rice, and also they preserve it for agricultural use only instead of developing it into something else, because they know that good food, good rice is really what deserves the effort of the government. So beside the use of land, we also witnessed another intelligent utilizing of the natural resources. So we learned how to make tofu when we were there, because there's this little workshop amidst the mountains of Taiwan that uses volcanic mud water instead of lime water to make tofu. And that volcanic mud water is really just from the backyard of their house, because they live on a volcano, like most other Taiwanese people. And what we've learned from their very touching example is that, do we really have to look that far for making changes or living healthy lifestyle or anything? Or is it sometimes we just only have to look at our own backyard and see what is there and how you can utilize the natural resources? And this is the kind of change that everybody can make. We've come across so many examples that I can't even count right now. Inspiring examples about people making making devotion to what they believe in. For example, restaurants just devoted to make healthy organic food, or German promoting foot massage, things like that. And so we believe that these things are what's most important, and of course, because we're a green entrepreneurship, we believe that the final goal is for harmonious coexistence with nature, healthy, sustainable lifestyle, and creative inspiration, things like that. But I'm going to conclude my presentation really quick, because time is limited, by a special thanks to our host, Mr. Stanley Yan. I don't know if any of you have heard of him. He's a very inspiring person, legendary character himself, devoted visionary man who is very passionate about bringing change to his homeland. So he is the chairman of the Alliance Cultural Foundation, who hosted us, and he wrote several books on inspiring future generations. So I think one of our classmates bought his book as well. So he is also one of the greatest inspirations we've had out of the trip, because he is an example for us how you can bring changes to your own society. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you to Mr. Yan, and thank you all for listening.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Mr. Stanley Yan, the man that Cindy talked about is Yan Changshou Xiansheng. So he is a really legendary change maker. He did a lot. He did a lot for the hotel industries in Taiwan. He's now retired, and he's now working and living in Taidong, a part of Taiwan that is poorer than the other parts, and with lots of Aborigines. But he's really trying his best to see the talents of these great people and create a local economy for them. So he is a real change maker. Okay, we have limited time, Chi-chung. This is the key word today. This is the tech word. But I still want our speakers to come on stage. Ula, you want to come on stage, and Ziwen and Cindy as well. And thank you very much for staying until the end. You are all great. So why don't you give yourself a very big hand? Now, let's have 3 quick questions for the speakers. You can also share your comments. And we have more discussions, and we have more talks at the ChangeMakers Village tomorrow as well. So I will also be here, and I look forward to meeting you all. Anybody has a question from the audience? Anyone? We've got Janet as the moderator. Why don't you ask a question to any one of our speakers?
Yes, I have a question about the Taidong trip. Cindy, were you here when we were introducing the Seoul trip?
Yeah, I was.
Do you see any similar things or different things that you find between the two groups? The two places.
I think I'll start with the differences because I think the focus of the two trips are very different. Ours were more on the green entrepreneurship and theirs were more about innovation. And because I have a friend who joined it both, and I think her comment was that it was a very different experience because you are inspired to different aspects of life. But I do think that the spirit of change is really the commonplace here because no matter what you want in life, green lifestyle or entrepreneurship or innovative ideas to promote social movements, all this need effort and you need to actually take an action to make that happen.
Great. Any questions from the floor? If not, then I have the privilege to ask a question. And Ulla, you've worked in all sorts of public places. In Copenhagen, you were talking about how you built this thing in Milano, and now it's on Hill Street in Hong Kong. Okay, so you have seen a lot of different people. So are they different? The residents of Copenhagen, the people in Milan, and the residents on Hill Street. Who are they?
I think they always seem really, really different when you just arrive. But I think our experience is that everyone wants the same thing to happen with their local community. They want to be surprised and talk more with their neighbors than they're already doing. You have this big city feeling when you arrive to Hong Kong, and people look very well. They don't really look at you; they look in the screen. But what we get in Hill Road is lots of smiles, and the people who can speak English, they just gesture or just use our furniture. So that's enough communication for us to understand that it's for use, and that they are really much alike the people in Milan or in Copenhagen.
Thank you. Were they actually quite shocked that you were doing all this in a public space? No? Did they tell you off? Did they say, what on earth are you doing here? Are you allowed? Are you allowed?
I don't think we've had such questions yet.
Okay,
So really
Hong Kong people are actually very inclusive, I think, and they also like a bit of fun. So it's everywhere. And it's a fun that you can share and you can enjoy in public space. Something that we almost forget, because now we only have shopping malls. We only have indoor spaces. But what Dennis is so great is that they bring us outside of our built and indoor environment and trying to understand who we are and our relationship with public space. Okay, so any last question for Ziwen? Yes?
Yeah, I have, it's for Cindy, again, sorry. It's always, you have an experience when you go to Taiwan and discover something, you come back, you see how easy it is that you're using the water from the volcano and stuff like that. And that when you say this, that sometimes you just have to look in your backyard, what you have. How do you transform that when you then come back to Hong Kong? How do you see what's in your backyard? Or how do you, do you understand my question?
Yeah, I think I get a sense of what you're trying to ask. I think that's a very good question, and that's actually the constant theme when we were preparing for this presentation, me and my teammates. Because it's easy to say from Taiwan, it is actually a very privileged place, as Mr. Yan has shared with us. It has very rich natural resources and a very relatively democratic society among other Chinese society, and many, many things like this. But when you look at Hong Kong, when you just have to look into your backyard, I think the key thing we learned from the Taiwan trip is that every city or every village has a different way of adopting their spirit into and making what they want into reality. And Of course, there's a lot of constraints in where you live, but I'll share a couple examples maybe. After the trip from Taiwan, when we came back, a lot of our teammates stopped using a lot of plastic products because we want to promote sustainability. It might seem like a very difficult concept in Hong Kong, but if you buy a glass bottle and you carry it with you, how hard can it be? And Hong Kong, although we don't have natural resources, we have a lot of shops, and we have we have things that we can get from all over the world. So if you have an idea, just like the previous dialogue, if you have an idea that you want to make it happen, at least you can get an idea where to start. The planting of organic soy that is happening on the Hong Kong Youth Farm. Is it that hard to put a plant in your bedroom and water it every day? I don't really think so. For me, after the Taiwan trip, at least, I'm starting to. I go to grocery with my mother, and I would support her in buying local vegetables, those from our local farm, or from Hong Kong new territories. And I would actually bring a glass bottle that's in my bag right now for water, and I would make my own lemonade in the morning. Things like that. It's not that hard when you think of the things you can do in your city and make use of the things that you have. I think that's, yeah. I'm sorry I'm rambling again.
Thank you, Cindy. I think this is a very small step to change, right? So if all of us do it, the world will be very, very different. I think with that, Janet, we have to conclude the evening. Do you have any further thoughts?
It's still the sentence. I do what I can do in my backyard. I do what I can do in a tiny town in China. I do what I can do on the Hill Road.
Yes, I do what I can do. So you do what you can do as well. Thank you very much. Thank you to Ula. Thank you to Ms. Wen. Thank you to Cindy.
Can we have a quick group picture? Invite the rest of our Danish team. Dennis is sent a round of applause. Please come over to the stage and have a group photo. And also our guest from England, Mr. Peter Moser, who has been doing our one-man band music and also putting on this nice trumpet music during our intermission. And our sole presentation students, please, your group, yeah. Come on, come on. Thank you. Oh yeah, they're really tall. That's as tall as the banner, right? Okay. And while we are getting prepared for this picture, may I ask my colleague to show the preview slides that you can do the rest of the 2 days, tomorrow and Saturday. We have 2 more days of ConFest. So let's have a picture first and now give you a brief introduction. Okay, cheers, or our trick is G, okay, G. Ourselves. Okay. Cheers.
One more. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Big hands for all our guests from all around the world. Okay. As Ada said, tomorrow she'll be here again. Of course, tomorrow we have the talk about the public space. West Kowloon representative, then East Kowloon, and then we have a scholar from Chinese University, and Ada will be the moderator for tomorrow's set. But do remember the venue won't be here tomorrow at all. The lunch talk is a free event. Please invite your friends or classmates. It will be at the Happy Park, the St. Sam Place, from 12:45 lunch until 2 p.m. And then tomorrow evening we have 6 to 8 p.m. with another talk about public space. Reimagine. We'll be dealing with the sprouting process because you have a bed of seeds. Remember in your bag. You'll discover that it's a bed of Wang Dao soybeans we bought from the organic shop in Taidong, where Cindy and our team has this organic tofu. So try to grow that. Sprout it first and then try to grow it. And we have a number of civil society representatives, and we have an architect, we have a hands-on maker, Dom, and we also have a scholar too. So next one please. On Saturday, the village will go on, and we also have the 2 more round of talks. We'll be back here. Saturday morning, 10:30. We have the talk was by Dr. Zhao, and we have Andrew from China. His campaign of 1 more kilo has been influencing a big time, in China to donate and to give and to share. This is kind of thought about sharing economy. And Michael Lan is the gentleman who has brought Hong Kong farm, Hong Kong honey to world famous now. This is kind of the fame that is your backyard from the rooftop. Howard is the guy who has owned this business next door, Bija's Vegetarian Cafe, one of his ventures. The cookies you've been enjoying is done by his company. And then Patrick is the man of the dialogue in the dark, concert in the dark, birthday in the dark, in the dark, okay? Okay. And then the last but not least, the harvesting time, we'll have Ada back, and then we'll also be hosted by our respected professor here from the Sociology Department, Dr. Ng Junhong, or aka Liang Fun Sin San. And then Howard will be back, Louis will be back, and then Al Garland from the media side will also be back. And you, hopefully, will be back, right? And we have a lot of student helpers. A round of applause to them. We have moderators, documenters, live online reporters, we have video makers, a design team. Well, Yuki, give her a round of big hands, you know. They design from the graphic to all this small design, all the decoration. And we have our team from GE too, okay, from all around the post, okay, from our GE team. We've been working for 1 year for this. And also from MaD, the MaD team from Ada, also Victor, Kelly, and all the team. Friends from overseas, Dennis, we'll see you at the Blue Road. Great party! Yeah, and then Ewan today, also from Peter Moser from England. And all of you, it's very important because start with you will be the change-making process. Step one, baby step. Okay, come on, 多謝晒大家。10 o'clock, limited time, limited space is our keywords because we do have very limited time and space. Otherwise, our world, our Mother Earth will be just like that. Okay, thank you again. See you tomorrow. Bye.